Hello again, this is Miguel with another installment of the WebUB app and getting to know it. In this scenario, in this installment, we are going to be going over the meter entry process. What I mean by that is the actual meter reads entry that we have proprietary for our system for in-house meter reads entry. In this case, let me go ahead and let's say we logged in. We experience this customer care screen. Excuse the alliteration. But in order to have access to meter entry window, we just come up here to the meters module, and then this is the first thing we actually see, the meter entry screen. Now, as you can see, there are some differences from what we are accustomed to seeing in UVision, as opposed to what we get in WebUB. Now, the first thing that you'll notice that's different is that the previous account field was removed, which is this one right here. It was removed entirely in WebUB. Now, the reason for that is to save vertical screen real estate and avoid user confusion whenever you're navigating and editing previously retained records. We can actually do this in WebUB in the two tabs that we are accustomed to anyways, instead of clicking on Review Post. I'll show you that in a second. The second thing that's different is going to be this button here, this Retain Read. Let me go click on Edit so you can see what I'm talking about a little more clear. So if I were to put in an account here and put in a reading, this button will glow blue because it's available to conduct action on it. So what this does, it actually retains a read. What that means is that it actually lists the reading in this grid right here. We haven't done one yet, so I'll do that one in a second. As opposed to in UVision, whenever you want to update the read and include it in your Review Post meter file, you click on Update Next and it pulls up the next account. It's just it's analogous to what is in WebUB and what it is in UVision. Okay, the other item that's changed is the change sequence. Now, by default, UVision allows the user to enter readings in sequence by account, but you can actually change it through count, routes, and walk sequence for subdivision and for specific accounts. The specific accounts feature, what it does is if you select it, you enter an account number here, enter the reading. When you hit enter or hit retain read, the cursor goes back into your account number field instead of bringing up the new account number. But for this case, we're just going to go ahead and utilize by account, which is what was default. Okay, the other item that changed was the user history. So, for example, if I navigate over here, there's going to be the usage info button and then the usage history button. Now these are actually hidden inside the Actions hamburger menu. So as long as you have an account number you can look at that information. Okay. So, and as I said earlier, the review post has been modified a little differently. Instead of it being a button that accesses another window, it's actually just a meter readings tab that you can go and look at the reads that you have put in prior. In addition to these changes, there has been modification to how the user can navigate to multiple read areas. Unfortunately, this district only has one read area, but let's say if I were to choose an account, let's see, there's no mic. Let's see, I'm trying to use a common name here. Okay, I got a Cedric Johnson. Click on that guy. Like I said, this district only has a couple of read areas. But let's say if we were to go to a different field, there's going to be hotkeys activated here so that you can actually navigate back to the read area you want to put reads on. All you got to do is hit Shift Alt and the number 1, 2, or 3 for their designated read areas. In this case, I'm going to do 1. So see, as you can see, it highlighted the read area 1 for water. Now, if I were to do 2, it won't work, or 3 because there's no read areas, but you get that point. The next item that has changed drastically, I would say, is because there was a bug initially in UVision, was how the calculation of high and low reads are made for compound meters. So if whenever you're entering these reads, there's a validation that occurs in the background that is very similar, if not identical, actually, to what the meter reader report does. So if you enter a read, it'll calculate for reverse reads, highs or lows, no consumption, so on and so forth. But in UVision, there was a bug where the compound meter usage was not being considered whenever that calculation was being made. So changes have been made to that. There's more information on the paperwork, the documentation that you're going to be provided, so you can look at that further. I'm going to go ahead and enter a read now. Okay, let's just go ahead and put it for a round number. Let's do 500. Alright, there's your 500. Here is where your validation is. In this case, it's a warning. It says there's high reading, but I'm going to go ahead and ignore that. You have the capabilities of still doing your double checking, your estimate reads, and your enter notes, test notes. I'm just doing this just for demonstration purposes. My reader initials. Alright, now we're going to hit retain read, and then it moves on to the next account by accounts, depending on what your change sequence is. So let's make sure this reading is listed on the meter readings, and there you go. So it gives you the link for the account, gives you a message, gives you reads, and if you're unsatisfied with the read that you had initially put in, you can always go back and delete that read. Yes, please. You can remove the read and then re-enter it by accessing the account again. In this case, let's go to Johnson Centric, I believe. Yep. And then enter the read again, however you such desire. Let me enter it again, and then we can post it. Alright, we're going to hit meter, whoops, retain reads. Here's your meter reading. Go ahead and save. No items to show. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and search for the account, 65. Go to usage info, meter info, actually usage info, I'm sorry. And there's your read, 500 on 1126. So that's pretty much all you have to do in order to do your meter entry. Just go ahead, I encourage you guys to play with it. I mean, use the test environment that we provided you to enter reads and see the different validations and such that you encounter. So that pretty much concludes their meter entry. I will continue with your reads shortly.